Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Solo ReacTalk. This evening, I'm going to be reacting to a video requested by Super Thanks by Anthrax Crab 3238. It's called the SCP Explained, a modern introduction to the SCP Foundation, made on the Volgun YouTube channel. If you guys want to check out the original video as well as the Volgun YouTube channel, remember the links are going to be in the description below. Yes, SCP. I have seen some videos on the SCP Foundation. I don't know if it was the Foundation, but SCP videos. I've seen some of them on TikTok while I still had TikTok. I deleted that app. But yeah, I have seen some SCP videos. I just never really delved deeper into it. Because I don't know, I was just lost, because sometimes I would see SCP 321, SCP 482, SCP 100, you know, and it was just smaller bite-sized stories on TikTok. So I wasn't really sure, you know, how much more developed is this SCP Foundation universe, if I can say that. So I never really took interest into it, but I did know of its existence. And yeah, Anthrax Crab 3238 has requested that I should delve deeper into the SCP universe with this modern introduction to the Foundation. And yeah, let's see what this is all about. Okay. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
So, you stumbled upon or heard about a thing called SCP, and you're wondering what it's all about. This guide has all the information you need to know about what the SCP Foundation is and what it has to offer you. Think of it as the ultimate primer to the universe, and the wiki as it is and should be seen today. This guide is split up into 3 sections, and they are as follows. Number 1. The basics. An introduction to the SCP Foundation and wiki, covering the SCP format, object classes, in-universe lore about the Foundation, and important vocabulary, and why it all matters. Number 2. In-universe elements. This covers some background information and a lot of commonly used terms that might leave a new reader lost or confused. Number 3. Things to read and do. A tour of the entire SCP universe, covering all modes of writing and different kinds of pieces that you can read. From -Js to EXs, 001 proposals to groups of interest, tales, and canons. There's a lot more than just the SCP series.
But there it says 001 proposals to groups of interest. So are you telling me that the 001 SCP has not been chosen yet? It's still stuck in proposals of what 001 SCP is. Interesting. Okay. I wonder how many other SCPs are also stuck in this process of being proposed of, you know, this is the SCP number what. Yeah. Interesting. Okay.
Okay, let's get started. The basics.
Operating clandestine and worldwide, the Foundation operates beyond jurisdiction, empowered and entrusted by every major national government with the task of containing anomalous objects, entities, and phenomena. These anomalies pose a significant threat to global security by threatening either physical or psychological harm.
Okay, wait a minute. Operating clandestine and or worldwide. Okay, yes, the Foundation operates beyond jurisdiction, empowered and entrusted by every major national government with the task of containing anomalous objects, entities, and phenomena. These anomalies pose a significant threat to global security by threatening either physical or psychological harm. Okay, let us zero or should I say, let's concentrate on where it says every major national government. What is that? Is that the G8? Is that the nations of the Security Council of the United Nations? The permanent seated members of the United Nations Security Council? Because clearly, this does not involve the United Nations General Assembly, where everybody is involved. Everybody will know that this organization will have the jurisdiction, the right by all, I forgot how many nations are there in the world, but at least they will all know and they will all contribute to the facilitation of this foundation. So I don't like where this is going already. I don't like the fact that it's a few nations with the economic, military, or political clout that have decided for the rest of the world that this foundation will have the jurisdiction to enter into your country, do as they please, in the name of protecting our physical and psychological stability from harm. They've been given that power. And what if there's a nation out there that refuses to sign up to this, unilateral deal, where these few major national governments have decided that they're going to impose this organization on you? Maybe I'm thinking too much into this. Maybe I'm going too deep into it. But I see this as a problem. The power left in the hands of the few can be corrupted. Any organization that has good intentions can be corrupted. People will take advantage. Organizations will begin to think that they can do as they please because they have the power, the authority behind them. Yeah, but maybe I'm thinking too deeply into this. Okay, let's continue.
Introduction. The SCP Foundation is a collaborative writing platform centering around a fictional foundation, a scientific and military organization that seeks to protect humanity and the status quo by locating and containing anomalies, objects, life forms, events, locations, concepts, creations, and phenomena that, in one way or another, violate natural law.
This reminds me of the X-Files. I don't know if you guys know that science fiction, supernatural kind of genre TV show. It comes from, I'd say, like the late 90s, maybe early 2000s. Yeah, it's around the times when Stargate SG-1 was also being shown. Well, in South Africa, when we had Stargate SG-1 shown on our television channels, yeah, we also had the X-Files. And the X-Files and SCP is kind of, mirroring, having like a mirror image of each other here. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's reminding me of the X-Files because, in the X-Files there were FBI agents who were investigating, strange anomalies, strange events. It could be extraterrestrial, it could be supernatural, and this was a division within the FBI that was investigating these things. I don't think they had the kind of support or the jurisdiction like the SCP Foundation, definitely. But with whatever they had at their disposal, they were able to investigate these occurrences within the United States of America, and also reminding me of the Men in Black in a way. How the Men in Black are also an organization unto themselves, having the jurisdiction across the entire planet as its protector, managing immigration of extraterrestrial life to Earth, and also having jurisdiction to carry weapons, sometimes of mass destruction, to maintain peace and security on Earth, no matter the cost, I would say, And they are also a very secretive organization. Not many people know of their existence. Just like it seems like the SCP is only known by a few governments, and those governments have given them complete carte blanche across the entire planet. So something also similar with the Men in Black, I would say. Yeah, interesting. Okay.
On the SCP Wiki, authors tell stories and explore ideas within this urban fantasy science fiction universe, creating rich pieces of writing that take place in a world where the anomalous exists and how people and organizations interact with them. These articles may showcase the different types of phenomena that might exist in this universe, the SCPs themselves, or tell compelling narratives about life and interactions within the SCP world, tales, canons, and groups of interest formats. The central focus of the SCP Wiki is the SCP file, commonly referred to as just an SCP. It is a set of in-universe technical documentation supposedly compiled by the Foundation in an effort to understand, analyze, experiment with, and most importantly, contain the anomaly.
The SCP file or SCP Wiki reminds me of like Star Trek's Memory Alpha. Yeah. There's also a Memory Alpha wiki page where people can just attain the information that has been shown on the television, in terms of all the Star Trek TV series, and also information outside of the TV series, stuff that have been verified as to be canon for Star Trek. So yeah, it's also kind of reminding me of Memory Alpha, with these SCP files, yeah, and the SCP Wiki website.
The SCP file is, in effect, a form of constrained writing, an immersive way to tell a story about the nature and history of an anomalous object or entity, whether directly or by hinting at some greater idea. Each SCP is given a unique serial number or designation, and on the Wiki, you can browse SCPs with designations ranging from 1 to 3,999.
So this series 1 to 4. Okay. But here it says SCP-001. I thought 001 was still under proposal. So shouldn't it be 002? Since 001 is not yet being finalized. But anyways. Yeah, okay, to 3,999. That's a lot. That's a lot of SCP files accumulated. And there's still other attributing information, right? It's not just about the SCP files, but also, supplementing information centered around different characters or, different entities or anomalies that may not be within the circle of the SCP numbers, if I can say that. Okay. Yeah, that's a lot of information. Okay.
They are organized into 4 numerical series. Series 1, SCP-1 through to 999. Series 1 was written from 2007 to 2011. Series 2, SCP-1000 through to SCP-1999. Series 2 was written from 2011 to 2013. Series 3, SCP-2000 through to SCP-2999. Series 3 was written from 2013 to 2017. And Series 4, SCP-3000 through to SCP-3999. This series is still being written, but it started in 2017. The SCP format. An SCP file has a very specific format that, in general, must be strictly adhered to. SCPs are the backbone of the entire franchise. These documents are the set pieces of the universe, showcasing its tone, stories, and possibilities. The basic format of an SCP is as follows. Item number, SCP-, then the number. Object class, then a category name. Special containment procedures, then a detailed summary of all specific means needed to make sure the anomaly is safely contained. Description, then a technically written documentation of all things that the anomaly is, does, and can do. And finally, supplements, optional additional files added onto the base document. Each SCP is given an object class based on the degree of containment difficulty. Here are the primary object classes. Safe. The anomaly can be contained by simply leaving it alone. No special procedures, methods, or events are necessary to keep it from damaging the world. This does not necessarily mean it's not dangerous. A safe class object can be world-threatening if not contained, but it's just really easy to contain them. Some notable examples of safe class SCPs are SCP-1981, SCP-2579, SCP-993, SCP-1425.
Okay, hold up. Wait a minute. Just wait. A bear is part of the SCP, okay? A clown. Star signal, okay? And then a stack of books, and I don't know if it's the TV or is it a recording, like a VHS cassette. I'm not entirely sure what, that one with, I think that's Ronald Reagan, one of the former presidents of America. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, interesting. Okay, those are SCPs.
And SCP-3039. All examples will be in the video description. Next, Euclid. The anomaly is inherently unpredictable or requires some amount of special effort to be contained. You're not quite sure what will happen if you leave it alone, and it might be a little bit more complex than a safe class entity, object, or phenomenon. Some notable examples of Euclid class SCPs are SCP-3008, SCP-426, SCP-1171, SCP-3001.
Guys, like a wormhole, IKEA, a toaster. I think that's a mannequin, or maybe the dress is the SCP. I'm not sure. And then a house on stilts. Okay. Yeah. I wonder what type of stories they had for a toaster, though.
And SCP-1609. And finally, Keter. These SCPs are really difficult to contain, requiring a huge expenditure of resources or extensively complex containment procedures. The most dangerous of phenomena are classed as Keter, often, but not always, posing an existential threat to humanity, the world, or universal structure itself. Some notable examples of Keter-class SCPs are SCP-1739, SCP-231, SCP-2935, SCP-2293.
Okay. Let's discuss here. A laptop. Hey. I think it's the information on this paper that's world ending. I'm not sure what, maybe it's, it's the schematics or designs of creating some sort of antimatter bomb or anti-material weapon, not sure. And then there's a cave and a void in space. I think that, isn't that the, I can't really read what's been said in this image on, right under the laptop. I can see that it's space, and then there's like a circle I think it's the Boetes void, maybe. Maybe, I'm not sure. I'm not entirely sure. I can't really read what's being said inside the box there. It's just too small. But yeah. Okay, I think it's like a void in space. And yeah, the cave and the picture in the middle. Yeah, I cannot see that. I don't know what that is. Okay, we continue.
And SCP-3200. In addition, there are a number of esoteric and secondary classes that are used much less than the big three that I just mentioned, but still serve important purposes. Thaumiel. This is a very rare object class only known to the highest levels of the Foundation. In essence, Thaumiel class objects are anti-Keter. They are used in the containment or counteracting of other SCPs. They act as powerful tools to be used by the Foundation, which normally rarely uses anomalies. Some notable examples of Thaumiel class SCPs are SCP-2000, SCP-2003, SCP-3000, SCP-179.
That's okay, so there's a brain, there's a power station, or is it a factory of some sort? There's a lady with long hair, looks like Rapunzel. There's a road going where, I don't know exactly. And then on top of that image there is, I think it's waves. Yeah, like I can't really tell. It's not really clear, but it does look like waves. I'll have to click on the links below in the description below for this video to check out each and every single one of these SCPs. Yeah. Okay.
And SCP-3031. And finally, neutralized. It used to be anomalous, now it's not. Maybe it just stopped working on its own. Maybe someone accidentally or purposefully destroyed it. Either way, it no longer has functional anomalous properties. Some notable examples of neutralized class SCPs are SCP-1470, SCP-2682, SCP-3519, SCP-1762,
a spider, a dog, another brain. It looks like a paper, I don't know, paper origami kind of thing. And the picture in the middle, I'm not entirely sure what that is. Is that like a berry? Okay.
And SCP-2420. If you want to stop watching this guide now and start diving into the wiki, this is a good time to do so.
No, I'm here until the bitter end.
But be sure to finish this guide if you're unsure of anything. Maybe you can pick one from the links from the description and then follow the cross links and navigation in the article. Maybe.
Okay, I said here, for the object classes, safe is easy, Euclid is medium, Keter is hard, Thaumiel are rare objects, anti-Keter, right, and neutralized are dead, essentially, or extinct. Yeah, that's how I'm going to easily understand what the object classes are. If I'm wrong, guys, in the way I've put it out here, you can correct me in the comment section. Yeah, but this is how I'm going to try and understand it easier in terms of the object classes. Yeah, easy, medium, hard, rare objects, anti-Keter, as well as dead for neutralized.
You can go to a series page. I highly recommend series 2 and 3, and just click on one with an intriguing title. Or you could roll the dice and press random SCP. One of the best ways to learn about the Foundation is to discover for yourself all the genres, emotions, and ideas it can evoke, to keep that sense of mystery and gritty realism. There's still a lot to learn about the culture and vocabulary and universe of the site. You can find out and learn by yourself just by reading as much as you can. Playing it by ear, it's pretty fun that way. Or if you'd like to get a better handle on everything that's going on and a few more ways to drop you into the community, Stay tuned. I still have a lot to show you.
Let's go.
Next up, in-universe elements. Foundation structure and protocol. Security clearance represents how much information about an object you're allowed to know. If you've read through an SCP or two, you're bound to have seen these. Data expunged, redacted, or the text completely blacked out. These keywords are common hallmarks and tools of narrative of the SCP Wiki, signifying that the information has been classified to a higher clearance or has been cleansed completely.
Clearly, the wiki files, or should I say the SCP Wiki or the SCP files, are still classified even to you as the fans, as the fans of this foundation. You know, those who've created the stories, those who enjoy the stories, you guys don't have security clearance. So who does? Who has the security clearance if it's not you guys? You know, you guys who created this foundation, you guys who support this foundation. If you guys don't have security clearance, who does? To such vital and important information.
It adds an element of horror through absence that is classic to the SCP fandom. For a great example of how security clearance levels can be used, read SCP-2317. There are also many types of workers in the Foundation. Among them, we have containment specialists, researchers, and security tactical response officers. There are field agents, who are out in the world undercover, looking for signs of anomalous activity, and mobile task forces, special units that are assigned to carry out certain dangerous jobs. The task forces document contains a list of mobile task forces along with their associated SCPs. The Foundation is usually thought of as a far-reaching organization, and so their bases are found across the globe, and sometimes outside of it. These bases can be sites or areas for more.
So they have bases in space or on other planets? Wow. Man, where do you guys get the funding? I mean, yeah, sure, you might be supported by these major nations, on planet Earth, but even they don't have that type of money to allow you guys to build bases outside of Earth. Interesting.
Information, read secure facilities locations. The leaders of individual areas or sites are high-ranking level 4 researchers known as site directors. There are
Hold on. Level 4. Site directors. Okay.
few in the Foundation that rank higher than site director, and they are the O5 Council, the ultimate leaders of the entire Foundation.
Hold on. The Overseer O5 Council. Okay. So just 5 members of this council.
Overseer Council, abbreviated to O5, is a group of 13 people who manage.
Oh, 13. O5 just means like the level clearance, like level 4 site directors. Okay.
All Foundation operations worldwide and have complete access to all information.
So they are the ones who have access to, classified information that has been redacted or that has been, blotted out. They have access to that information. Okay.
Redacted or not. Their identities are classified for safety, and they are only referred to by their ID, 051 through 13. In addition, some versions of canon also include the existence of an administrator, the creator of the Foundation. Finally,
the administrator, the creator of the Foundation. Okay. That's one man or woman with a lot of power. A lot of power. I think I would prefer the O5 Council of 13 members instead of having an administrator having so much power. That's a lot of power. Yeah.
One of the most interesting parts of the Foundation are D-Class personnel, or Class Ds. The canon around D-Class personnel helps showcase the colder and more morally gray side of the Foundation. In order to experiment with and contain SCPs, the Foundation needs lab rats to test things with, the D-Class. Oftentimes, they are recruited from death row or the prison population, serving
human beings. Oh. Wow. Yeah, I guess these major governments that support the Foundation are also withholding the rights of prisoners who are on death row, which I suspect mainly they're from America, because I don't know how many countries in Europe have the death penalty. But yeah, these prisoners' rights are being withheld, and, or should I say, forfeited, and they're being taken to the Foundation where they'll be experimented on. Oh.
As expendable personnel that are used to handle hazardous anomalies.
Expendable?
In the early days of the site, a common headcanon was that all D-Class were executed at the end of the month. However...
Really? Really? And we call this morally gray? Okay. Wow, SCP.
This idea has gone out of fashion as the site has evolved. For more interesting stories about Class D personnel, try reading entries from the D-Class contest.
I think I'm going to focus on the D-Class.
Terms to know. The SCP Wiki has created a wide set of terminology and new innovations, inventing concepts that are unique to the premise of the site and found nearly nowhere else in literature. You may want to know these terms before you dive in. Anomalous classifications. Memetic, or meme. A meme is any unit of information that can spread and transfer itself throughout society. Memetic effects.
Hold on. Okay.
Effects deal with how the brain understands and reacts to media. It is a piece of data in the subject's mind that has an anomalous effect on that subject's physical or mental state that is spread when someone else becomes aware of the same information. In particular, anomalous memetic agents are bits of hazardous information that are like a mental virus, triggering anomalous reactions in people who are exposed to them. Anti-memetic or anti-meme. An anti-meme is the opposite. It has self-censoring properties. Anomalous anti-memes are perfectly mentally camouflaged, whether by making you unable to hold your perception of one in your short-term memory or making you unable to comprehend the concept of its existence. Cognitohazard. A cognitohazard is something that is dangerous when we perceive it with one of the 5 senses. For example...
Hold on. Just need to write it down.
A sound that causes you to bleed from every pore, or a smell that causes you to go insane. All memetic effects are a subset of cognitohazards, as in order to process the information, you have to sense it. Infohazard. Infohazards are anomalous effects that trigger when the SCP is described, referred to, or acknowledged. You don't even have to sense the thing to be affected by an infohazard. You just have to know that it exists. It affects data written about the anomaly and people that are made aware of the existence of the effect.
Man, that sounds scary.
Ontokinetic or reality bender. An ontokinetic being can manipulate the laws of reality, magic, through anomalous means. Groups of interest contain and study reality benders, often in unethical ways, creating some moral crises for the Foundation.
yeah, moral crisis for the Foundation, yet it will continue to do it because there's no oversight. They've been given free carte blanche to do whatever they believe is necessary. There's no oversight. There's no government, there's no United Nations that watches over these people as they continue to do as they please. Yeah.
Anart, or an artist. Anart is short for anomalous art. Many people and groups aware of the existence of reality-breaking phenomena choose to explore it by creating often surrealist art with extra-normal properties. These people being called anartists. Narrativic, or pataphysical. A narrativic anomaly manifests itself within works of fiction, often affecting the content of the work involved by creating characters, changing the setting, or blurring the line between fiction and the reality. The pataphorical or pataphysical SCP explores narrativic anomalies using the wiki itself as the narrative. It explores the idea of characters we write on the website attempting to communicate and manipulate us, and being aware of things on the website like author pages, deletions, and discussion forums. Technology and engineering. Scranton Reality Anchor. Scranton Reality Anchors are technological devices used by the Foundation to essentially regulate consensus reality. They cancel out or prevent the effects of reality-bending entities and anchor down areas where the level of unreality is higher or lower than normal.
Is this Scranton Reality Anchor an SCP as well? Or different types of SCPs? That's amazing. This Scranton Reality Anchor. It's an amazing piece of technology or engineering.
Counterbending it so that it matches the reality that we know and inhabit. Many contemporary authors have criticized the widespread use of SRAs as a catch-all for containing any type of structural or ontokinetic effect. Telekill. The SRA back in the old days. Except the problem was worse. In its original form, it was a metal that blocked all mind-affecting or compulsive effects. People went crazy over it and started using it in all their containment procedures, and mistakenly thought it also blocked mimetic effects. Scranton's rewrite of the article added some nuances and drawbacks to it, and its usage had fallen by the wayside anyway, as people have become more innovative with writing. Humes, a unit of measurement that measures the intensity of reality present in an area, crucial to understanding how SRAs and other technologies work. They are useful in quantifying how powerful reality-bending effects are relative to each other. K-class scenario.
With the anomalies classification, I think I'll have to come back to it, especially with the meme and the anti-meme, as well as the cognitive hazards and info hazards, as well as the reality bender, the anart. Yeah, all of those ones. I'll have to come back to them and just listen to it far more carefully, because I don't fully 100% understand, in terms of all of these classifications. But yeah, so far with the technology and engineering, the Scranton Reality Anchor sounds like an impressive piece of technology. Yeah, I'm gonna have to just read up more information about these devices that the SCP Foundation agents use. Yeah, very interesting so far. Okay, hold on, let me just turn the page because there's no space here. K-class scenarios. Okay. K-class. Right.
A term used to classify possible apocalypse scenarios. which the Foundation deals with on a daily basis when discussing the possible outcomes of dangerous effects or entities. The most common type is XK class, which describes a conventional destruction of the planet scenario. There are multiple minor ones whose exact definitions in canon are being argued over, including CK class, the restructuring of a reality, AK class, humanity goes crazy, SK class, the dominant species on Earth is no longer humans, and ZK class, reality universal failure.
Okay, hold on. So XK class, planet destruction, if I can say that. CK class, restructure of reality. Okay, AK class, humanity goes crazy. SK class, okay, I forgot SK class. Hold on, let's go back a bit. Sorry guys, I'm also writing down this information here, so let's just go back a bit.
Or entities. The most common type is XK class, which describes a conventional destruction of the planet scenario. There are multiple minor ones whose exact definitions in canon are being argued over, including CK class, the restructuring of a reality, AK class, humanity goes crazy, SK class, the dominant species on Earth is no longer humans, and Z.
Alright. Okay, dominant species on the planet. Okay.
EK class, reality universal failure.
Reality universal failure. Okay. Oof. These classes.
Amnestic, mind wipe drugs. A narrative tool used by authors to explain A, how the Foundation is able to keep the masquerade of secrecy, and B, to create stories dealing with memory and knowledge. In universe, these are simply chemicals that erase a normal human's memory of some amount of time. When the Foundation has to recover an anomaly in the real world, or seriously messes up, these are used.
It's just like the Men in Black with their, what do they call it? The neuralizer? Something like that. I forgot what it's called. But that flashlight. But instead here they're using some sort of like drug to erase people's minds of what they've just seen. You know, in terms of the SCP anomalies. Whether they're objects or living beings. Oh, interesting. Okay.
Things to read and do. There's more to the wiki than the SCP series. In this section, I open the door to the other areas of the site that are part of the Foundation universe, as well as answer some common questions about key but confusing parts of the site. What is SCP-1? In the early days of the site, when the wiki was just getting started, there was some debate over what should be this sacred number. 1. Everyone agreed that it had to be incredibly written. Everyone agreed that it had to be big. Something deserving of the very first spot.
I mean, it doesn't have to be big. It can be small too. I mean, if you go by the administrator, the person who created the Foundation, maybe this person found out something small but still significant, and it would be the Foundation that would start the creation of the SCP Foundation, you know, by presenting this anomaly or object or living SCP to the governments and saying that, you know, this is something that we need to further investigate, and thus this organization was created. So it could be something small, it doesn't have to be something extremely big. Yeah, you know.
But nobody could agree who should do the honor of writing it. The answer? everyone can write their own vision of SCP-1. Thus, the system of proposals, an author's individual idea of number 1. They vary wildly and contradict each other. On the number 1 hub page, it says that the quote real number 1 is so secret that a number of false ones have been created.
Nice. I like that.
This explanation allows there to be multiple self-contradictory number 1s. One of them could be the true one to you. Or maybe you want a couple to be canonical at the same time. Maybe all of them are fake. Maybe all of them are true. It all depends on your canon and how much you like a given proposal. In effect, SCP-1 proposals are canon builders. Each one sets the tone for a particular author's vision of the Foundation itself. Creating an SCP-1 proposal is as easy as writing it and then submitting it just like any other SCP. Although, unless you're incredibly experienced, it will most likely get rejected by the community and deleted. As of November 2017, 19 SCP-1 proposals have been successfully posted. Each one is the product of a lot of work and a high concept. Here are 6.
I would like to look at these proposals myself. Sounds very entertaining.
6 of the 19. Number 1. Dr. Clef's proposal. The Foundation was established to prepare humanity for the rapture or apocalypse. SCP-1 is the angel guarding Eden.
Okay.
Number 2. Dr. Mann's proposal. The first and only natural anomaly was a spiral path in New York. A group of ambitious scientists experimented with reality using this as the thread and created every single other anomaly in the database.
Nice.
Number 3. S. Andrew Swan's proposal. The SCP Foundation is aware of its fictionality. They are currently discussing ways to kill their authors.
Whoa. Oh wow. Oh wow. That is amazing. Now that number three, guys. I like that one. I like it.
Number 4. Rojit's proposal. Keter-class anomalies are an inherent part of the universe and can be contained using each other. By releasing all Keter-class anomalies, the universe can be manually restructured.
Okay.
Number 5. Twisted Gear's Cactus proposal. SCP-1 is one manifestation of the mechanical god worshipped by a clockwork cult. Which wreaked havoc on the world before the military destroyed it. And finally, number 6. Kaladin's proposal. Humanity was originally a slave race whose suffering was harvested to create utopia on another planet. We escaped and then tried to cloak ourselves. The cloak failed, and our masters are trying to bring us home.
Okay, but how does that connect with the SCP Foundation in terms of collecting and containing anomalies, whether they're objects or living beings? How does that connect? Okay.
It's my personal suggestion that you don't start with SCP-1. The proposals are usually quite complex and require some knowledge of Foundation lore.
Okay, noted. I will take that advice because I first want to look into this D class. You know, these, what do they call them? Test rats or rat, what is the criminal, lab rats, criminal experiments. I want to first read up on this D class, and then I'll look into the SCP, the SCP numbers in terms of the object classes and, their anomaly classification. I will look into those as well. But first things first, it's the D class. I need to read up on any information about these poor sods that are being used as experiments, for testing these SCP anomalies or objects or living beings. Yeah. Oof. I know there are murderers. I know there are people who are on death row. But it doesn't mean that we should be experimenting on them. Yes, if the law is there for the death penalty, then yes, they must die. They must die in the most humane way possible, not to be used as lab rats. So yeah, I'm going to be looking up this D-class information on the website, or on the wiki. Yeah.
Which is either played with, expanded on, or subverted. Read conventional SCPs before you take the number 1 deep dive. Special classifications -EX, -J, and -ARC.
Hold on. Special classifications EX, J, A, R, C.
There are other types of documents that use the basic SCP format and style, but utilized in a different way. This allows different stories with more diverse tones and themes to be told. The SCP-EX classification designates an SCP that is no longer considered anomalous. It is or phenomenon in question still exists, but the Foundation has deemed it to be an acceptable part of consensus reality. Or it was a giant fake-out, or it turned out to be just a new scientific discovery. An SCP-J is a joke SCP, a parody SCP, in a sense. Joke SCPs are explicitly non-canon, using the SCP format to joke around or make fun of something for the benefit of the reader. They may riff on in-universe tropes, like overwrought security, over-the-top containment, cold posting, or bad original characters. Or they may parody things like food poisoning, bad drivers, easily angered people, or that one movie. They may even make fun of the elements in the other popular SCP canons. Ultimately, a joke SCP is just a way to make the reader laugh. If a joke SCP is not well written and very funny, it'll be downvoted. And finally,
yikes.
we have SCP-ARC, archived SCPs. These are usually legacy pages from the very old days of the site, when standards were low and the mass edit had not been conducted yet. While most of these SCPs were deleted, some of them needed to have text archives due to their usage in other tales or still existing SCPs, or because they were historically important. ARCing is no longer in use since the opening of Series 2, 3, and 4, and you will most likely never need to read one of these. Tales, canons, and collaborative logs. Tales are how the Foundation universe gets deepened and extended beyond the limits of the simple SCP file. It allows authors to tell stories where groups or people can interact with each other in the SCP universe, to expand on ideas already created in SCPs, or just, to write a prose. Some authors may also turn their tales into a series, usually if they have a cohesive idea in mind, or if it gets really popular. Notable series include There Is No Anti-Memetics Division, The Cool War, The Lombardi Tales, Tales of Mr. Collector, and Pitch Haven. You can find Tales in the top-rated Tales archive as submissions to a themed contest or by trawling around and finding recommendations. You can also, as we'll soon learn, read the Tales in a canon. A canon is your own set of assumptions about the tone, setting, and dynamic of the universe. Each of the canons in the Canon Hub is a wildly different set of assumptions based off the baseline SCP Foundation. Think of them as mega tale hubs, or parallel universes, or self-contained cinematic universes for authors to play in. Here are 5 notable canons. Broken Masquerade, a world where the Foundation's existence is known by everyone. Resurrection, a deliberate attempt to resurrect the action-orientated SCP Dr. Crazy Days of Series 1, in which an MTF composed of anomalous humans is formed. Third Law, a pulpy sci-fi paratech world dominated by the machinations of Prometheus Labs and Anderson Robotics. Rat's Nest, the military killed God, and the Foundation is covering it up. Reality is slowly unraveling and falling apart. The Gulf, small-scale poignant series set in the southern United States, usually having a restful, mysterious feel, and featuring religious symbolism and unconventional types of media. A number of pages on the site are tagged as collaborative. Collaborative logs or pages can be edited and added to by anyone, although some quality oversight still exists. This is a good way to get your creative chops and contribute whilst not taking the plunge of writing an SCP.
You know, after I read as much as possible on the SCP Foundation and the SCP files on the SCP Wiki, I might one day try to collaborate, and just put in my own little my own little reports or files or stories in there, and hope that those who are editing, those who are, proofreading, approve my little contribution, and yeah, I might want to do that. Yeah.
The 3 main collaborative pages exist as lists of mini SCPs, very small-scale items or phenomena that don't need to have a narrative, but still need to be unique, appropriate, and interesting. They are Log of Anomalous Items. The SCP Foundation has discovered a substantial number of items which are simply too useless to merit further attention. This document lists those items which have prompted some curiosity. Log of Extranormal Events. This page is to document anomalous events that have attracted the Foundation's interests, but occurred too briefly for the Foundation to secure or contain them. And finally, Log of Unexplained Locations. This page is to be devoted to the documentation of low-threat anomalous locations which have been discovered by the SCP Foundation over the years. There are a number of other collaborative pages, usually SCP supplements or logs. Keep in mind that guidelines for contributions still apply though, and if your edition is deemed to be below standard, it'll probably be removed.
Yeah.
Groups of interest. The Foundation isn't the only fish in the anomalous sea. Other organizations, collective, and groups exist that utilize or create paranormal phenomena for their own purposes.
Oh, that's interesting. That sounds very interesting. So then, the SCP Foundation is not the only fish in the sea. There's many other fishes who are doing pretty much the same thing. So do they also have jurisdiction from major countries to do as they please? This is a mess. This is a mess, At first, I thought we were just contending with the SCP, but now there's other groups that are doing something similar. And what if they're even far worse than the SCP in their endeavor to control, to contain, to collect all of these SCP anomalies? Wow.
Some are associates of the Foundation, others are rivals to it. Many of them quietly pursue their own interests, while a great many of them fall on the lines of good and or evil. The vast majority simply have a goal in mind that's somewhere in between.
I see a war brewing. I see a war brewing between these organizations. Eventually there will be one group that holds a very powerful SCP, and they will think that, with this type of object or living creature that we have in our possession, we can change reality. or we can create a weapon that is so devastating that can attack mentally or even physically, that the other groups won't be able to have enough time to retaliate. This is our chance to take them out. Mutually assured destruction here between these groups. I see it happening. I mean, it would be best that the world will only have one group that can do these type of things. But now that there's so many of them, that all have their own interests, they have their own objectives, it just creates a mess, a recipe for disaster. Really. So I'd rather have this type of power concentrated in one group than for it to be dispersed amongst many groups. And I'm sure there's no oversight over any of these groups. So it's just a mess in my book. Yeah.
Here are 7 notable groups of interest. Are We Cool Yet? A collection of artists, usually producing surreal and disturbing works of art. Their pieces are designed to have maximum impact and are usually lethal in some way.
Wow.
The Chaos Insurgency, a rogue cell of the Foundation that uses terrorist means to steal and repurpose powerful anomalies to gain control over nations and conduct unethical experiments using them. The Church of the Broken God, a widespread cult believing in a clockwork god who is broken into pieces all over the world. Dr. Wondertainment, an individual or company that makes anomalous artifacts that are supposed to be children's toys.
Hold on. Wondertainment.
The Serpent's Hand, a small organization headquartered in an interdimensional library, believing in anomalous rites and the normalization of the paranormal and magical. Marshall, Carter, and Dark, a corporation that buys and sells anomalous items for the benefit of the super rich. Global Occult Coalition, or the GOC, a massive military organization under control of the UN, using
under the control of the UN. Wow. So there's the SCP Foundation that is funded by these few major governments, and yet also they have the United Nations, which I'm assuming the Security Council has approved for this organization to be created, while they still have the SCP Foundation. What a mess. What a mess. Really.
Technology and force to destroy the extra-normal wherever they find it. Many groups also have their own form of documentation, similar to an SCP. On the wiki, they are called GOI formats, and they are stories told from a different perspective than the Foundation. For more information, visit the Groups of Interest page, as well as the ongoing Groups of Interest overview and guide on the SCP Declassified subreddit.
I think I'll focus on the SCP Foundation and its anomalies, its different forms of anomalies, whether objects or living beings first. I'll first deal with the D-Class and the SCP Foundation first, before I go over to these other groups and their formats of how they describe these different types of SCPs. Yeah.
Beyond the main site, you can find stories and SCPs to read even beyond the classifications and places I've already detailed. In this final section, I present other outlets of writing associated or tied to the SCP Wiki that you can also look into. Firstly, a great place for you to discover lesser known but very well written tales and SCPs are in the contest archive. For example, SCP-1000, 2000, and 3000 contests all have SCPs themed around urban legends, sci-fi, and horror, respectively. You have the Short Works contest, and the D-Class contest mentioned earlier, and the History contest for both Tales and SCPs. Then there are the gigantic, multi-part Mobile Task Force contest and Groups of Interest contest, and then the Dystopia and Reimagining contests, and so forth. There's so much to find. The Wanderer's Library is set in the mysterious, ancient, magical Library of the Serpent's Hand. It includes prose pieces and poetry set in the SCP universe, but focused on evoking a sense of wonder, of the extraordinary and fantastical. Quote, a sense that there is a larger world beyond the one we know. In the world of the library, these wonders are hidden, but never truly far away. But never forget that this is a wilder world than our own, and it's never entirely safe, either. And finally, we have the international foreign SCP branches. There's French SCPs, Russian SCPs, Japanese SCPs, and a whole bunch more.
Very interesting.
Each brand has their own set of SCPs, many of which have extremely creative and diverse ideas. If you're looking for more SCPs to read, this might be a place to find cool concepts. And if you don't know a foreign language, the main SCP-INT Wiki Hub has translations of some of them.
Very impressive.
This was entirely written by Reddit user Modulum83 over on the SCP Declassified subreddit. All links will be in the description. If you enjoyed it, give Modulum83 some praise in the comments section for writing something I couldn't write myself. I hope it answered most of your questions about who we are and what we do, and that it convinced you to take a dive and become part of the universe and the community. I would like to give a special thank you to Andre Bichert, Desmond Haskins, and Getsaberry. Thank you all very much for your support. It's greatly appreciated. If you would like a special thank you at the end of each of my videos, and some other cool stuff as well, go to patreon.com/thevolgun. Thank you.
Okay guys, that is it with the SCP Explained, a modern introduction to the SCP Foundation, made on the Volgun YouTube channel and requested by AnthraxCrab3238. Yeah, the SCP Foundation is an organization that has a lot of layers to it. And even beyond SCP Foundation, there are other foundations or other organizations that are doing something similar to the SCP Foundation. And, you know, yeah, there's a lot of information to go through. A lot of these anomalies, you know, all the way back from 2007 to 2017. And probably even now, there's still more of these SCP anomalies, you know, being added to the SCP files, or should I say SCP wiki. Yes. So yeah, there's a lot to go through, a lot of information to read up on, and I'm going to be doing that. I really am going to be doing that, especially with the D class. Like I've said before, I'm going to find information on these people who are being used as lab rats, and you know, the different types of class or object class of the SCP are also quite interesting to hear about. That not all of them are dangerous. Some of them are, really just safe or inert, and they don't really necessarily seem like a threat to humanity or to Earth or to reality as we know it. And how that level climbs higher and higher in threat level, in terms of the different types of SCP object classes that exist. And yeah, really, there's a lot of information for me here to get my head around. I think I'm going to take it slow though, unless of course those who are watching my reaction suggest that I should continue going deeper into the SCP Foundation and videos based on that on YouTube. I will get into it. The thing with me right now is that my mind, if I can say that, is still having a lot to deal with when it comes to other fantasy, science fiction type of storylines, especially when it comes to Warhammer 40k. My mind is still a bit transfixed on that. So I don't know when will I have the time to shift away and read up on something else, or make videos in terms of my reaction videos with SCP. But really, it is something to invest into, especially for me to read up on these different types of SCP files that are out there on the wiki. And yeah, I think I am going to really enjoy it. Because like I've said before, I've seen some of these SCP videos on TikTok, never really truly understood what was going on, but now after watching this video, I have a far better understanding, in terms of the information being presented to us in a video format, if I can say that. So yes, I will be, delving deeper into it, but slowly but surely, not all at once. Because if I do that, then I'm just going to lose myself, and I won't be able to really have a firm grasp on the information. So yeah, this was interesting. Really, this was really interesting. Thank you again to those who contributed to this video and making it what it is. Thank you again to also the Volgun YouTube channel for posting this video based on the SCP Foundation. Really, the explanation here is deep, and I'm going to be watching this video at least 2 more times, especially when it comes to the to the anomalies classification. Yes, I'm going to read up more, listen closely, attentively more to the different types of classification, and also read up on it on the wiki page. And also when it comes to the the tales, canons, and collaborations, I'm also going to read up more on that, and the special classifications as well. So yes, this was all very good information that's been presented. It's up to me now to further go deeper into the SCP Foundation and just further understand it. Thank you to AnthraxScribe3238. AnthraxScribe has been insisting on me reacting to SCP content. So yes, I'm here now, and it is really interesting. It is really amazing to hear about this entire universe out there that I don't know anything about, and I will get into it definitely. Really, this was good. AnthraxScribe, thank you very much, guys. That is it for tonight. Remember, if you want to check out the original video as well as the Volgun YouTube channel, remember the links are in the description below. If you like my reaction, please give me a like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Click on the notification bell if you want to be updated with my latest videos, and I'll see you guys next time. Okay, bye bye.